Hello Trainer Sans. I got a couple of requests asking for an example of a Sparks farm run, so this is a commentated example of my thoughts and considerations for a typical Sparks farm run that I personally like to do. Spark farm runs will be a big part of your gameplay loop since getting great parents is a big step towards making your super juiced out dream Umas, and if you're not sure how creating Sparks work, I highly recommend you first check out my Sparks guide. Okay, assuming you know the basics, the main objective of Sparks run is to 1. End a career with stats over 600 for the sparks we care about. Personally, I only care about getting speed, stamina, or power sparks. But if you want, you can also end with over 600 in guts and wit as well for a chance at those 3-star sparks. 2. Win as many G1 races as possible. This gives the chance to earn those valuable G1 race sparks. 3. Win the URA finals. This gives the chance to earn the powerful URA finale spark, which gives speed and stamina in a far greater quantity than the other G1 sparks. 4. A bonus goal is to end with one or more stats over 1100 for those increased 3-star breakpoint levels. The first step is to choose the Uma you want to do the farm run on. It doesn't really matter that much, but a couple of considerations for your pick is that 3-star or higher Umas will be able to pass their ult green spark down, and it might also be worth picking Umas with stat bonuses and things you want. For this example, I chose Oguri Cap, who has a good versatile ult skill pass down as well as a 20% speed and 10% power bonus. A very minor downside for Oguri Cap is that she has 2 A grades in style. So after we fix her long distance to an A, there's still a 2 out of 6 chance our pink spark rolls a style spark, which is undesirable. We would much rather have a turf or distance-based spark. As for parents, if you have 3-star Umas, it would be a good idea to use them as parents for the chance at ending with a 9-star legacy. Don't forget you can also borrow 3-star Umas from guests. It's also worth choosing parents that fix important distant aptitudes to make your career runs easier. For Oguri Cap, I'm making sure her long aptitude is in A. And as for a support deck, choose something that fits your goals. I typically run a 3-2-1 support deck, or alternatively a 3-1-1 and scenario card, as it gives a generally solid balance of stats that I want, and it frequently gets me close enough to hitting that 1100 speed that I also aim for. As for the run itself, you mainly want to have the same priority on those high-value training days, but with a bigger focus on planning around available G1 races. It's worth checking the Game Tour race sparks page to focus on those sparks that you feel would benefit you the most. Just as an example, for the Year 1 early December G1s, there are 2 G1 mile races on the same day. Although the blue Asahi High G1 gives more fans, the pink Juvenile G1 race spark gives speed and power instead of speed and guts. It's not a huge deal, but if you're really trying to maximize your race spark value, then it could be worth doing that extra bit of research on figuring out the optimal G1s. The next main difference is prioritizing on hitting our stat goals. For example, if we end up with over 600 power during a run, then we met our power goal and we can instead put the rest of our training on meeting our speed or stamina goals. So yeah, basically just do a bunch of G1s and try to end with your stat goals in mind. I guess it's also worth briefly talking about buying skills. If you're just doing a Sparks run, then there's not really much point in spending skills on those inherited ults. These can't get passed down as white skill sparks, so it's better to instead just buy good speed or stamina skills that you can see yourself using on other Umas. Green skills are in general pretty bad, but if it's the end of a run and you have leftover skill points, then you might as well pick up a cheap green skill. And that's pretty much the difference between a normal career run and a Sparks farm run. Hopefully at the end you get lucky and end up with that 3-star blue spark that you're chasing. If you have strong mental and can handle repeated spark farming, then I salute you. But I think it's not a bad idea to instead just start every career as a high score run attempt, and if your run has too much bad luck, then you can just convert it to a spark run down the line, since they still share mostly the same base principles of aiming for high stats and winning the career. I guess for the rest of the video, I'll just talk about Oguri Cap. First of all, you should watch the Musume Cinderella Grey anime, which stars Oguri Cap. It's very entertaining and it doesn't require you to have watched any of the other Uma animes. As for our in-game version, Oguri Cap is probably the strongest launch 3-star Uma. Her ult is very strong and fairly consistent, and she can easily be flexed into dirt as well as turf, mild to long races. She also benefits from having great stat bonuses with 20% in speed and 10% in power, making her an all-around powerhouse. I recommend bumping her long aptitude to an A for those required long races that she faces in her career, especially the year 3 Arima Keenan where she has to place first. But yeah, being flexible means you have more G1 options available to you throughout your career, which can turn a low value training day into a solid training day with a G1 victory. All things considered, Oguri's career shouldn't be too hard. Just something to keep an eye out for is the fan count requirements and that one mission that requires you to place top 3 in 2 G1s. If you don't plan properly or underperform in some of these races, then you might find yourself suddenly failing the career due to failing these objectives and not having any way to alarm clock them. A few quick tips. For the year 1 fan count goal, I generally recommend picking up either one or both of those December G1s that you come across. Also, keep an eye out on your stamina for those medium and long races. Your end of year 2 stam goal should be about 450, and your year 3 stam goal should ideally be at least 600. After you reach good stam, feel free to pump speed and watch your Oguri smoke everyone. So I don't really have that much else to talk about for this video. Oguri Cap is pretty strong, and I pretty much talked about everything I wanted to for my Sparks run. I don't know, are you guys excited for Kita-san Black tomorrow? Maybe by the time you're watching you've already rolled. I forgot to mention it in my Kita-san Black video, but I'm mostly against re-rolling if you already have the SSR Special Week event speed card. Because getting that max limit break is pretty strong for free-to-play players. And re-rolling and losing it is, I don't think it's really worth it. Of course, if you don't have that card and you've started playing recently, then maybe re-rolling is a good idea for you. I don't know, the point of that video was to just give you the considerations on everything surrounding the banner, and everyone can make their own decisions based on their own situation. That's mostly just because I don't want to be responsible for anyone being sad tomorrow. Yeah. Well, I feel obligated to keep talking since this is a commentary video, but I don't know. What do you guys want to see in the future? Any Umas? Any game mechanics in particular that you want explained? I've gotten a couple of ideas from comment suggestions that I will slowly get through over time, but yeah, as always, feel free to suggest things. For now, I'll probably just do free-to-play full runs of the current Umas we have. The rest of the game mechanics that I could talk about get a lot more advanced than the guides I've made currently, so maybe we could start getting into that, like skill opti or stat opti or stuff like that. I don't know. My philosophy is that it's okay to just take things slowly. You don't have to go too hard on being the best at everything, because whales are always going to be in a league of their own. So I think everyone should have a goal for the game that isn't just being number one as a free-to-play, since I'm not sure if that one's going to be possible. I guess a common endgame goal is to just do your best in PvP, and if that's your goal, then by all means, learn the game inside and out and make your Umas as strong as you can. But you can also have other goals, like filling out trophy collections, or if you have a favorite Uma, having them win every single trophy, or every G1, or every URA finals. I think that's a pretty noble goal for your Ushi Uma. Yeah, this run I ended up capping my speed. I got my stam and power to the stat levels that I wanted, and it was a solid run, all things considered. Oguri Cap is so cool. In this run, she lost only one race out of all of those optional G1s we did. So she got 17 wins and 18 races, which is really solid. And her one loss was just this one random 13th place, which you always get those random losses in your careers every now and then. But yeah, she is just so solid. I pretty much never worry about failing a career with her because I think it's just her stat bonuses are just so good. 20% speed is as good as it gets pretty much, and then 10% power, can't complain about that. So if you want to build a strong PvP Oguri Cap, maybe the hard part would be making sure she has enough stamina if you're running her as medium or long. It's pretty common to see her being ran as a dirt PvP Uma. There's not really that many dirt Umas out in the game right now. You get Urara and Belkondor Pasa, and your third is usually going to be Oguri Cap or Taiki Shuttle if you have her. At least until Curran-chan comes out. So yeah, if you're trying to make Oguri Cap a dirt PvP Uma, just don't forget to bump her dirt aptitude to an A at the starts. Did you know Oguri Cap is one of the few Umas to be in the Japanese Horse Racing Hall of Fame? I guess the anime is covering her entire IRL story. I really like how the anime kind of follows their historical story. It's honestly pretty interesting, and it means that you never know who's going to win. It's a lot different than this career where you already know Oguri Cap's gonna win every race. Have I mentioned how cool she is yet? She's pretty cool. And in the end, we met our goals, and we were actually rewarded with a 3-star Power Spark, meaning this Oguri is actually my second 9-star Uma on this account. Don't let my uploads fool you though. It's still very hard to get those 3-star sparks. I have, I think, 3 total 3-star sparks out of well over 100 runs. So it's definitely not easy, and they are pretty rare. But if you're interested in spark farming, then I wish you the best of luck on your sparks. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video, and as always, I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you around. And good luck if you're rolling on Kita-san tomorrow.